Hello, my lovely. You didn't get to where you are in your business by doing shit the way that everybody else does. And you know that what got you to where you are now is not going to get you to where you want to be. And if you are listening to this podcast, it's because you want to be the go-to for what you do better than anyone else. Your brilliance is the niche. Being you, that bold, unfuckwithable presence that you've secretly been craving to set free, she is in there. And that means you will have to burn some old bridges down. And attracting your people will also repel those who are not for you. Fucking hooray. Becoming a force of nature business and brand means no more Miss People Pleaser, no more hiding your turbo brain, no more dimming down jack shit. And if you have ever been told to tone it down as a woman with ADHD, it's time to tone your shit all the way the fuck back up. That is how you create unstoppable momentum in your business and visibility that is something you've been avoiding, but that you truly want. This podcast is about stepping into your upgrade, watering down anything, never change the fucking world. You were not born to be forgettable. And as one of my all-time favorite quotes says, well-behaved women rarely make history, and nothing about you or me is well-behaved, at least not anymore. In today's episode, part 2 of the self-trust gap discussion that we're having. And last week's episode was part 1. If you haven't heard it, go back and give it a listen. In today's episode and next week's episode, part 3, I'm going to go over the fastest ways to bridge the gap using my proof of opposite questions and how to rebuild self-trust and stop really seeking that external validation on every little thing. And finally, in part leave that in, Brooke. But that's my person who edits it. In part 4, it is on like Donkey Kong, where we talk about once that self-trust gap is bridged, how your brain just becomes your competitive edge in your business, period. So this made me laugh so hard. I can't even have her edit it out. It's just too funny. Oh, words be wording. All right. One last thing before we go any further. Now that you found me, stick around, follow and subscribe to get that little push notification reminder every week. And once you do that, you've officially joined my girl gang, the Feral Women's Club. Let's do this. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneur, the podcast for feral online coaches with ADHD who refuse to play by the fucking rules. My name is Carrie. I am your host. I am the chief weirdo of Carrie Out Loud. And if you are here because you know it's time to stop the fucking brain chaos from happening as often as it does and find a clear business growth path that your body is like full body fuck yes to, then you're absolutely in the right place. If this episode has an impact on you, tell me. Shoot me a DM over on Instagram. That's where I hang out. Did you hear something that made you feel understood? Did you have something that just jumped out at you? Tell me what it was. Tell me why. And if you're digging me as a human while listening and you want to book a clarity call to see if my work is for you or the Neurospicy Sisterhood is the mastermind for you, there's a link in the show notes to book that call. One other thing before we get into this topic, I only care about one thing as a woman leading other women with ADHD in business: your success, your results, you getting to where you want to go and being wealthy as fuck in every sense of the word is what I care about. And I don't just mean money, because wealth is many, many things. I straight up do this work for the ripple effect. When I see a woman come into my coaching who does not trust herself, she's feeling overwhelmed, and I'm able to help her look at her business through the lens of ADHD and show her how she can work with that, watch the fuck out. Get out of the way, because that is when people grow. That is when the ripple effect is massive. And I feel like there's 2 things that I really help my clients do. It's close the self-trust gap as an ADHD woman and also show them what it looks like to be successful, feral as fuck, running a business that you love and staying your raw, unfiltered, and gritty self, because it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing like you were led to believe. And my mission is to help as many female online coaches with ADHD become 6 and 7 figure business owners sustainably, because I don't want you burning that shit down every 6 months. So let's get into part 2. Okay, so last week we spoke about what the self-trust gap is and why you're experiencing it, that it's not imposter syndrome, it's this lack of self-trust and why. So this week we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to talk about why your brain has been a lying liar lying through its lie hole, and how you've been collecting this biased evidence against yourself for years, and how to start fucking correcting that, because it's about damn time. Your brain is lying to you. Those little brain gremlins, they're lying to you. Your brain has been obsessively cataloging any failures, missed deadlines, every time in life or business you've dropped the ball, and you conveniently have been forgetting to document your wins and internalizing your wins. And I'm not just talking about minimizing your wins. I'm talking about the fact that your brain will literally delete that shit. I'll give you a personal example. I've got 25 years of business experience. Until about a year and a half ago, I didn't even mention that. Didn't even mention it, because I was like, oh, well, everybody does. No, they don't. Not everybody has 25 years of experience. That's a unique factor to me. I've done businesses of all different types before I was a coach, right? So I have that different experience and didn't say a word about it. Just conveniently forgot, right? So today I want to talk to you about proof of opposite, which I have talked about in other episodes. But this episode, I'm going to talk about how to apply that to the self-trust gap. And at the end of this episode, you're going to understand why your brain does what it does, how to stop it, and how to really start building a case that you are reliable, you are capable, you are trustworthy, and you're human. You're not going to be perfect, but you are all of those things. It just may look a little different in execution. So let's start with why your ADHD ass brain is so fucking great at cataloging your failures, but shitty at remembering successes. This is a negativity bias. It's actually kind of built into us as human beings because we've evolved in a way that still connects to our roots, right? This is where we are wired to remember negative experiences more than positive ones, because from a survival standpoint, we need to remember the threats that came to keep us alive. So if you ate something poisonous, your brain was like, damn, we're not going to eat that again. And it's like big red light. But add that to ADHD, that negativity bias is loud. It's way louder than neurotypical people. And we don't just remember negative experiences. We ruminate on them. I'm going to give you an example of something that's probably going to make you laugh. How many times have you been laying in bed and had a thought flash in your head about a conversation you had 2 weeks ago with somebody, and you're like, oh, wait, I didn't say that right. I think I need to message them and correct that because I didn't say it right. That's rumination, right? That's playing it on a loop. That's analyzing it from every angle. And so we will create entire narratives in our own mind, not even based on fact, based on what we believe is fact, because it's our own perception, but not rooted in reality. And we have these narratives of what these failures mean. And then you add in the rejection sensitivity, especially if you have a rejection sensitivity dysphoria. It can be physically painful to have criticism or rejection, and it makes it way more intense, right? So every time we fuck up, it doesn't just feel bad. It feels like confirmation that I am fundamentally flawed. And that's not true. It's not true, but it's what is happening up in the brain, up in the noodle in your noggin, right? So take that and now add to it a lifetime of being told, whether it's explicitly or implied, in tone or nuance, that we're too much, too chaotic, too smart, too many big words, too unreliable, too forgetful, too disorganized, too insert word here. And you've got a brain that's running a very biased investigation into everything that you do, right? It's not collecting data. It's cherry picking that bullshit. It's only taking the evidence that confirms the story that you truly believe or used to believe. I can't trust myself. And the fucked up part is the fact that your brain is deleting those wins, not minimizing them or downplaying them, but like straight up, they're just not in the
brain, not part of the record. So let me show you what this sounds like. And some of you may out there just maybe like, oh, fuck you, Carrie. But that's okay, because I really want you to see this, because when you see it and you recognize it and you know what is causing it, you can then do something to support yourself to not do that shit to yourself anymore. So here's some examples. You finished a degree. Yeah, but I barely passed that one class, so it doesn't count. You launched a business or a program. Yeah, but other people are further ahead. It's not that impressive. Because, you know, everybody starts businesses, right? No. You showed up for your clients, even when you were struggling. Yeah, well, that's literally the bare minimum, so I had to do it. No, you didn't. You still have a choice to not fucking show up. Just so you know. Your brain has this like shitty way of explaining away every accomplishment, every promise you kept and followed through with, every moment that doesn't count, every moment that you had that was positive, and it basically is like it doesn't count as the evidence of reliability. I had one client who had her highest month in December, and that can go either way, right? It's like, well, it's December, everybody's buying, and then there's people who are like, it's December, nobody's buying, right? But you will discount it because like, well, it's December and it's busier, and so that's just all like stuff that isn't true. It's like, it's this quantifier, and instead of just being like, fucking A, I did that, that's amazing, and not in a way that's ego, in a way that's just like acknowledging the facts, that's it. So because your brain is running this bias, we're gonna fucking interrupt that shit. And this is actually like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a neuroscientist, any of that stuff, but there is definitely a thing called neuroplasticity where you can change the way that your brain reacts and the way you think, and you can create new pathways. And the older we get, the more practice it takes, but it can be done. So what I want to help you understand is what the proof of opposite is and what it does for you. So this is where you take concrete evidence that contradicts the unreliable story that's ruminating in your brain. And this isn't affirmations or just think positive. No, it's not that. This is not pretending everything is fine. This is evidence of the reality, the real, the tangible, the documented proof you have of the follow through. You have been reliable. You have accomplished hard things, even when you've been told your brain couldn't. And I can remember something very distinctly. You guys will laugh. I was in junior high and taking a typing class, and oh my God, I failed. Like, typing was not it. My hand-eye coordination was like full body, fuck no, wasn't happening. And then I remember somebody telling me, well, you're never going to type fast because you suck at this. So my brain's like, don't tell me I'm never going to do something. And I ended up typing 80 words a minute. I'm like, don't tell me I can't do something, right? So that's the reality of what happened. But my brain will remember the thing that's the negative part, not the what I did with it and was like, oh, fuck you, I'll show you, right? So this proof of opposite is about becoming fair, being fair to yourself instead of biased, instead of persecuting yourself with all of this biased, negative bullshit information. Right now, your brain is only interested in, and this may not be you, but it may, and you may fall somewhere in between, just depending on how far along you are in that process of like closing this self-trust gap. But your brain is acting like a prosecutor who's only interested in convicting you in like the worst way, right? And it's only going to bring evidence into the courtroom that makes you look guilty. It's going to object to any evidence that may prove your innocence in a court of law, right? So it twists neutral facts into what it is sure is like damning testimony. So what if you became the defense attorney instead? What if you started collecting all of the evidence, including the evidence that your brain has been hiding from you? This is how it looks when you don't have the self-trust. You might say things like, I always start things and I don't finish them. I can't follow through. Why would this be different? And my question is, what have you finished in the last 5 years that past you did not believe that you could do? And at first, they may be like, nothing. And then I start digging. Did you finish your coaching certification? Well, yeah. But, well, did you launch your first offer even though you were terrified? Well, yeah, but, well, did you navigate a global pandemic while keeping your business running or whatever that would look like? Well, yeah, but that would, do you see what's happening? But yeah, but every single thing, there's a reason it doesn't count. It counts. Stop pretending it doesn't count. It all counts. The fact that you are explaining that shit away doesn't make it any less real and doesn't mean it doesn't count. It's just like if I ate a hamburger and said I didn't eat the hamburger, my body would still metabolize the calories no matter what I said, right? So do you see that? This is what I mean when I say your brain is deleting your wins. And it's not that you didn't accomplish those things. It's that your brain has convinced you they don't fucking matter, and they do. So why does this happen? Why do we minimize this? And there's a few reasons. One, it feels safer. It doesn't acknowledge our wins. We don't have to risk failing again. If we don't claim our competence, if we don't say what we know to be true about ourselves, then we don't have to live up to it. And then staying small and playing small feels a lot less scary than owning what you're actually capable of, because your brain is like, but can I handle it? Yes, with the right support, you absolutely can handle it. You may be still thinking you have to do it all alone. If you're there, you definitely need to get in the neurospicy sisterhood because you don't need to go it alone. Number 2, we are comparing behind the scenes to everybody else's forward-facing shit. You see their finished products. You see that they had a huge launch, and you just assume it was easy for them. You do not see the struggles. You do not see the doubts. You do not see the messy middle parts that they had, because they for sure did. So when you accomplish something yourself, it feels less significant because you saw how much more challenging it was for you. But you're literally making up what's going on in other people's businesses. Like, knock that shit off. You don't fucking have a clue what's happening behind the scenes. So comparing yourself is just going to be a thief of your joy, because you're comparing yourself to something you're making up in your own mind. It's not even based in fact. So I need, start letting go of that shit, will you please? And lastly, number 3, we're holding ourselves to impossible standards. I've said this to my clients before, and they say it back to me all the time. It's like, our 50% is everybody else's 120%. If we're at 100, that's like other people's 300%, right? Your 50, what you feel is your 50% is way, way more elevated, or way more, you're accomplishing way more than you think, even at your 50%, because that's just how we roll. We are quick. That's how our brains work. So thinking that you have an accomplishment and that it only counts if it's done perfectly, it's effortless, it's ahead of schedule, and it had no struggle. That is not how life works. That is not it. Real accomplishments are messy and imperfect, and they still fucking count. So here's what we're doing today. I'm going to give you the proof of opposite list exercise, and you're going to do it right now when you are done with this episode. I want you to grab your phone, open your notes app, and set a timer for 10 minutes. I want you to write down every major thing that you have accomplished in the last 5 to 10 years. Pick a time frame. Things that past you did not believe that you could do. And not that things were easy, not the things you were supposed to do. Things that past you would have bet your money on that you are not going to pull it off, but you fucking did it. That includes degrees and certifications, businesses that you've launched, even if they are not the business that you have now, because I had 2 failed businesses from undiagnosed ADHD. That doesn't mean dick about me. That means I pushed myself too hard and I face planted. I don't want that for you. That's why you're here. You've had hard seasons you've survived, relationships that have started, ended, that you've navigated, different moves that you've made, changes in career that you've pulled off, health challenges you've overcome, times you've showed up when it's scary as fuck, and projects you finished that felt impossible. The rule is, if past you would have said, there's no way I can do that, but then you did it, it goes on the list. And here is what is really important. When your brain tries to tell you, yeah, that doesn't count, because write it down anyway, because that's your bullshit prosecutor in your brain trying to object. It's time to overrule, bitches. It counts, right? Now, once you have the list, keep it visible. Save it on your phone. Save it as a screenshot on your phone. Make it your lock screen. Write it on a sticky note. Put it in your bathroom mirror. Put it in your purse, your wallet, your pocketbook. I don't care, but keep it with you, easily accessible. And every week, I want you to add to it. What did you do something this week that passed you didn't think you could do? Add to the list, because here's what we're doing. We're correcting the bullshit data collection that you've been having that has happened for years or most likely decades, right? And you're building a counter case. You are the defense. You're collecting the evidence that your brain has been deleted. And I know what you're thinking, but Carrie, isn't that just like lying to myself? Isn't that toxic positive? No, it's not, because you're discounting things that are real. Toxic positivity is pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's denying reality in favor of like forcing optimism and good vibes only type stuff, right? That stuff is like to bypass pain. That's not what you're doing here. Proof of opposite is the direct opposite of that. It's not ignoring the struggles or pretending you haven't faced challenges. It's like taking the full picture, including the parts that you're hiding from yourself. And your brain has been lying and only showing you the failures. So this proof of opposite is going to keep correcting that lying lies, those lying lies, right? This is not about delusional. This is about balance. And you don't have to believe what you're writing yet is the proof that you need. You don't have to believe that. You don't even have to feel that. You just have to document it. Because right now, if you lack that self-trust, it's based on feelings. Your feelings are based on this fucked up biased data. You are starting to collect accurate data now. Your feelings will catch up. And you don't build self-trust by feeling better first. You build it by collecting this evidence that you're trustworthy. And in these micro moments, the more you do that over and over and over again and helping yourself get that self-trust back, then you start to feel it. And that's the best part, because when I watch my clients start to feel it, I can tell. I can see it in their content. I can see it in the way they show up. I can see it in what they're talking about. I can see it in their confidence. Like something just fucking switches. All of a sudden, they've been getting this proof, and they're just like showing up as the most genuine them, the one that I know behind the scenes. And I start seeing it forward facing, and it's so fucking beautiful. And with that, I'm going to end today's episode. If you're an online coach who's ready to fucking like ruthlessly simplify your business so you can grow it and have strategy your brain won't reject and make fuck you money and have a life that you love outside of your business, my work is for you. Get into my universe, do these two things, keeping up with the latest and greatest, get on to the frequency with my newsletter. It's exclusively for ADHD women in business. Whether you think or know you have it, doesn't matter. I don't want a diagnosis paper, but if you know, you know. Let's talk shop, book a clarity call. Let's discuss simplifying your business for growth and what that looks like to work together. The easiest way is to slide into my DMs on Instagram at Carry Out Loud, or go to the show notes to the link to book it. And it's 30 minutes. It's not a coaching call. I get to know you, your goals, where you want to head, your mission, and we see if it's a match. Fucking hooray. So until next week, I see you. I love you. I'm rooting for you always. Don't let that fucking brain gremlin get you down. You got proof of opposite now. Stay feral, motherfuckers. Bye.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the ways to follow me. And of course, my goal is to find and help as many women with ADHD get away from the 9-to-5 grind, because it's just not designed for our neurospicy brilliance, and there are other ways to do life. So by subscribing, sharing, and giving a 5-star review, it helps other women find this podcast as well. And if there's an episode you really love, please feel free to take a screenshot and share it on your social and tag me in it so that I can thank you personally. Until next time, you spicy brained unicorn. Bye.